Bitcoin is a long-term savings technology. You
For
should
sure.
never buy Bitcoin that you have to sell. We don't even have a sell button at Swan. You have to actually like get in touch with us through support if you want to sell Bitcoin. Like the whole
Yeah,
point is moving more of your wealth into a better savings technology over time, and ideally saving, the vast majority of it for the next generation.
sure.
But at least have something like at least a 6 to 10 year time horizon for every single little bit of Bitcoin that you buy. You should not be thinking about selling that for at least 6 to 10 years.
I think a lot of people that are looking at Bitcoin now, at least on the the surveys we run with our own audience in our Diamond Circle, the people that we talk to in our personal coaching, they are looking that way. They think in those formats. They're also looking at this kind of this conundrum right now that we're dealing with because of the way that the current economy and financial system is set up, because you have a lot of dollars going out of these regional banks, moving into brokerage accounts, which are flipping into money markets, taking a T-bill, and getting 4.5%, 5% pretty much just by automation. That's the argument, because the argument we just had this last weekend that I was doing one. I'm not doing one this weekend, obviously, it was Sunday. But last weekend, we got into some pretty heated debates about, well, why would I go with Bitcoin when I can just flip my dollar into a T-bill through a treasury or through a money market account with Schwab or Fidelity or whatever, versus flipping over here into Bitcoin and not necessarily getting that 5%. And I'm like, well, let's look at long-term sovereign wealth. Now let's step back and view it from that angle. What is the argument that you would give for someone like that who are trying to figure out, how do I move from these really high-risk dollar positions and into something that I can either make money on or long-term positioning with Bitcoin?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a nice additional narrative that's always been there about the self-sovereignty and being outside of the
Yeah,
system. But obviously, I still think the dominant narrative for Bitcoin is that anyone who studies the global financial system and global economics and the US system and the dollar and studies Bitcoin comes away with an expectation that the purchasing power of Bitcoin will rise dramatically over time. I mean, there's only 21 million Bitcoins and there's a lot of dollars, and Bitcoin is the best tool in the shed for store of value of all assets that we have on this planet. And, it's $500 billion today, and the global store of value pie is, depending on how you measure it, somewhere between 400 and 900 trillion. So if your expectation is that the best tool for the job will capture more share of market of the global store of value pie over time, then there's a lot of upside for Bitcoin. So, I think of any Bitcoin that I own, I don't set any near-term price targets, but it's kind of my base case that we have, way more than a 50% chance, probably like a 75 to 90% chance of sat cent parity or $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. So I think
Yeah.
we do have like a 30x in this asset over the next 7 years.